Hey y'all, in this video we're going to be covering a same side wrist lock flow. Now understand that you're not going to flow through all of these things in a self-defense situation. However, we are going to have the opportunity to utilize these at different times whenever we're trying to control somebody, okay? Now remember, this is a control situation. This is not a fight for your life situation, all right? However, each one of these does have an opportunity to be used in those control situations. So, super simple. We're gonna start from a same side wrist grab because that makes it easy, all right? So Miss Becky grabs me with the same side wrist grab so we can tell that it's the same side wrist grab because we're on the same side of the body. She's got her thumb crossing in front of my wrist and she's in the thumbs up position. If she was in the thumbs down position here, we would have to do different things. We would treat this more like a cross wrist grab. All right, from here, same side wrist grab. We're gonna start with something super simple. This is just a distraction technique, but it does work relatively well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna grab underneath her wrist. I'm gonna push her wrist up as I roll my hand down. Basically, I'm bridging her wrist, the back of her wrist, over the top of my hand here. Now, if I leave it down here, it's pretty easy for her to just pull her elbow back and now I don't have anything. So I need to create some extension. So from here, I'm just gonna step back and I'm gonna lift. I wanna be at the level of her shoulders and then I wanna pop. Watch her shoulder, it will lift up when it gets uncomfortable. Now, I'm not gonna do this with a lot of tension on her because it does not feel great, okay? After I do this one, we're gonna release back into that original position and I'm gonna start rotating my hand over. She's gonna kind of re-grab here for the purposes of the drill. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate my hand over. I'm gonna get my Coke can, I'm gonna dump my Coke can out. As I do, I'm gonna trap the fingers and I'll show that close up here in just a second. Now, I'm gonna take this same side leg and I'm gonna step toward her. I'm gonna pivot here, I'm gonna step in front of her. As I do, I'm gonna bring my elbow up and down here across her elbow as I move in, all right? This is one we've seen before in other techniques, but super easy here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pinch her shoulder between my quad and my elbow here. I'm gonna pull this up as close to 90 as I can. From here, I'm just gonna cup and compress. I can even just do this from here, but I'm supporting the hand here, making sure that elbow doesn't bend. If the elbow does start to bend, however, we have something to work with. I'm gonna take this hand and just rotate it 90 degrees, rotate it under. I'm gonna allow her hand to start to slip, but I'm gonna push it down to where it's thumb out. So before it was pinky out, now I'm gonna turn it down toward the floor so that it's thumb out. From here, I'm gonna grab. Now I've got a lot of good pressure here. I'm gonna turn toward her and start to lift her shoulder up. I'm gonna step in, boom, and I'm gonna pin her shoulder to my opposite shoulder. If I go same side shoulder, gives her a lot of opportunity to do things that I don't want her doing, okay? So I'm gonna go same side shoulder here, boom, just like this, okay? I'm kind of pinning that in there, kind of catching it and supporting it. This is not a long-term hold, this is very temporary, okay? But it does hurt. From here, I'm gonna go into my next lock. Now for that, I'm gonna rotate 180 degrees so you can see. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna release this figure forward hand, whoop, here. I'm gonna palm the back of her elbow here. Now I'm gonna turn her hand back and down, like I'm trying to wave at somebody through her armpit here. As I do, I'm gonna push her elbow down to where it's gonna sit into my armpit. From here, I'm gonna shoot this hand through. Now, if I stay right here, it's really easy for her to pop that elbow back out. I don't want her to do that. So what I'm gonna do is as I'm pushing this through, I'm gonna come up behind her and kind of sandwich her hand right here so she can't really go anywhere. So you see I've got it in this pocket of my elbow here and I've got her wrist collapsed right here. If I'm really mean, I go ahead and crunch the fingers. She doesn't like that very much, okay? From here, it would be fairly easy for her to turn out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this hand and I'm gonna grab right here in that lovely little hole just behind your collarbone. And I'm gonna pull and pin her to me. All right, now it's very difficult for her to get out and I can collapse that wrist. We can decide where we're gonna go from here. All right, so that's kind of walking through the basics. Let me show it a little bit faster. Let's do it on the other side, facing this direction. So she goes ahead and she grabs me. Okay, from here, very first thing, bridge, brace, step back and extend, get that shoulder lift. Second, she re-grabs, I pour out the Coke can, trap the fingers, step in front, elbow over elbow, pull up, pinch. From here, I'm gonna let her bend that elbow, I'm gonna figure four, push the thumb down, grab, I'm gonna pin this to my opposite shoulder so it's harder for her to turn and punch me. From here, I release the figure four hand, I palm the back of the elbow. This is gonna tuck under and around, give her a little chicken wing here, sandwich, all right? And now I've got this lovely little, and she doesn't like it at all. Okay, excellent. So let me show you a couple of those things in more detail up closer to the camera. So Miss Becca, if you would, we're gonna step up to about here. First things first, when she grabs me with this very first one, what I'm doing is just reading the book. As simple as that sounds, like a lot of times I can just get away. But if she's really, really hanging on and kind of yanking me around, that may or may not work, right? I may not have the balance to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bridge here. Now she doesn't really feel endangered here at all. She feels incredibly strong here until I step back. So I want to use this extension and this roll, okay? I'm almost kind of doing the genie arms here, okay? But I'm gonna roll this one and lift this one. It's like I'm trying to flip this hand over underneath it. So from here, boom, that's what I'm looking for, extending and driving down on those fingers, okay? I have to keep pressure here because if I don't, then it's really easy if I'm pushing down for her just to keep pushing down, right? So I have to keep this up pressure here. I don't want her to be able to get out of that. All right, now when I go back over, this is the tricky part here. Number one, I have to make sure that I don't do monkey palm, okay? Monkey hand here. If I do that, then I kind of miss my lock. There's nothing to grab. I want to go tiger's mouth here. I want her arm to fall into the web here. The trick is the trap. A lot of people try to trap on the palm for this one, and so the hand just kind of slips out. What we actually want to do, I'm going to do it on the other side so the camera can see better. What we actually want to do is as we're coming over, I want to line my fingers up with hers and pinch down like this. Now go ahead and pull your hand out of there. It's a lot harder. She can pull me around, but that hand's staying there because I'm keeping her fingers curved. Now I can go ahead and make my turn, and it stays really tight on that wrist, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So that's what I'm looking for, is to wrap around, lining my fingers up with hers. We're mirroring our hand position here. Okay, excellent. Now this one at the top, once I get her inverted, okay, and I'm doing this little funky chicken wing thing here. First of all, I want it to be on the opposite shoulder here. Second of all, I've got this hand here and this hand here. This figure four is not absolutely necessary, but it does make it really easy to move her arm from this downward position. Once I come under the elbow, you see I've got this pressure. I can pull here and bend that elbow to get it up where I want to. If I try to leave this out here, all she has to do is rotate toward me and it's gone. That's why it's so important that I pin it up here against my chest. So once I'm here and I have this nice tight lock, I'm gonna pin against my chest. This is stabilizing on the bicep. It's pulling her elbow into my chest. Now go ahead and try to turn out of it. She doesn't want to because it kind of hurts, okay? And I've got this elbow pin. This, again, is not a long-term solution, but it does work. One other thing to note, if she's a lot taller than me, this doesn't really work, okay? You're not gonna be able to do this against somebody who's significantly taller than you are, unless you need them in the groin first, which does help. All right, from here, the pass-through is pretty difficult. I'm actually gonna show you on the other side. So from here, I've got this lock, and I'm here for my figure four, and I'm on the opposite shoulder. Here's what happens now. I'm gonna release. My hand goes on the back of her arm to keep it from pulling back that direction. I'm gonna rotate here, like I'm opening the door, then I'm gonna tuck it down underneath, all right? Almost like a Kimura lock. If you know a Kimura from the ground positions, this is basically the same thing, but I'm not gonna stay here. This is gonna push her elbow down. As it does, I'm gonna shoot like I'm pointing behind her, okay? So I'm gonna rotate you 180 degrees. Or here, I'm just pinning this into my armpit and pointing that direction. I'm trying not to put a lot of pressure on her wrist when I do this because it gets really uncomfortable. The higher you have this, the tighter that wrist lock is. Now, from here, I don't wanna just stay here. I need to shoot here. Now you see I've got it tucked. Now I've got control of that situation. Now if I wanna move her around, I just say, hey, we're gonna go that way, and she goes that way really fast, okay? All right, thank you, Miss Becca. So there is your lock flow for your same side wrist grab. Please take your time to go through these in detail. Make sure you think about the hand position. Practice palming the back of somebody's wrist and letting them turn it just to get used to that motion. This is a really cool way to just learn a lot of these locks that you end up in when you're in those self-defense situations or when you're in a control situation with someone. Great luck, guys. Hope it works out for you. We'll see you in the next video.